I am your host, Leah Dunlap, and you are listening to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help intentional leaders clarify their purpose and next steps to create a work and life of significance. Hi, everyone. It's Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and I've got a question for you. Do you know how to get your life back on track? There's been a lot of tumult, especially in the last few days and the first few days of this brand new year. And as we've come forward out of probably one of the wildest years yet in our recent history, I realized that the one piece that helped last year be my best year yet, and the best year for some of my clients, was the one thing we focus on no matter what. So I want to share that with you. So the question on the table as you're joining me is how to get back on track with life, no matter what's happening around you, right? No matter what life has thrown at you, how do you get yourself centered and back on track? The one thing that I know for sure, that I know for sure, is that every time I've worked with a client and we start with this one piece, it brings the balance, the energy balance back to them. And that's this. It's prosperity. Prosperity in all its forms. To align your purpose and your prosperity, how do we do that, right? So first, of course, you've been watching me enough to know, and some of you who are new, say hello if you're new and watching me now, that my core function in the work that I do is to help people understand what their purpose really is, what their unique life purpose, right? That's what I call it, their unique life purpose is. And the reason that I do that is so that they can prosper in this environment, in this world that we're in, right? Because prosperity, to prosper, right, is to be part of the energetic flow of wealth and abundance and opportunity and joy and love and growth. And so how do we create structure, if you will? How do we harness the power of prosperity? How do we ensure that when we wake up in the day, right, any given day, no matter what's going on, that our eye is focused on prospering? Now, I might have just sent some red flags up for many of you, and if so, I'm going to ask you to stay uncomfortable for a minute more, okay? If this is bringing up ideas about wealth and privilege and money, and maybe even me just saying those words right now kind of sent you off spiraling off the merry-go-round, if you will, breathe into it. Because I believe, and I have spent the last 26 years as a coach sharing and supporting people and understanding that our natural inclination is to prosper, because prosperity is growth. It's growth for ourselves, it's growth for our communities, and it's growth for the world. So you might have seen above in the comments if you're reading the details about this post that, I challenge you to say, what if your success can actually save the world? What if your being prosperous is the thing the world needs so that more people, right, can be in the flow of that wealth and abundance? And most often people also assume that wealth, abundance, and freedom, right? So there are 4 P's that are kind of like, to me, the pillars of prosperity. And I've already kind of teased one of them for you. But I want to kind of back up and just make sure we've got everybody who's coming for the ride, right? Make sure we've got you all connected and back in your center. So as I was saying, if the word prosperity or money or wealth or abundance, or I'm trying to think of other words, but any of those words, right, kind of strikes a chord with you in a negative way, the first thing beyond everything else is to get comfortable. Hey, thanks for watching. With the idea and the concept that you're really created to prosper. Your cellular being is coded to grow, to create. Both things, that was the other word I was looking for, both things are aligned with prosperity and movement and flow, right? That's the thing to get comfortable with, to be in comfort. Maybe comfort's probably a stronger word, to be aligned or acceptant of the idea that it is not only okay to prosper, if you take it one step further, can you allow it to be a gift to the world that you are prosperous, that you are prospering, that you have prosperity? How many more ways can I say it? Prosperity, right? That's the key. So how do you get back on track in life? You prosper. You follow and focus on prosperity. Follow the prosperity. Focus on being prosperous. Life loves growth. It loves abundance. It loves lushness. It loves luxury. Life is teeming with all of these things naturally, okay? This is not something we create outside of ourselves. And if anywhere right now you're going through that process of thinking, if I do that, right? If the judgment is coming, if I do that, then what I was just doing here is making sure that if I see you guys coming in here, if I do that, then I'm, what are the myriads of words that come up? Share some of them with me. Some things that I know that clients have said before to me, when we talk about prosperity, we talk about wealth, we talk about abundance, there's this underpinning of that being negative, frankly, being bad, right? Money is bad. Wealthy people are stingy, or rich people are bad. It's hard for me now in this time to really think about some of those old ones, but I'm trying to think of something clients have shared. So, hey, thanks for watching. Say hello in the comments. I'm actually seeing the comments now. So yeah, share with me, whoever's watching, what are some of those negative connotations people bring, or that you've maybe said yourself in the past or felt about prosperity, like because it's tied to wealth or abundance or being rich or luxury. We need to look at that undertow of the negative belief systems that can pull people down. And like I said, if we are created to be abundant and to grow and prosper, then why should prosperity itself be bad? I don't believe so. I believe that being prosperous allows me to do, have, and be more, thereby helping create better things in the world as I invest in great things, invest in people, hire clients that are doing work for me, hire assistants, travel, whatever those things are that I'm doing with my prosperity, I am generating flow and wealth, thereby allowing other people to prosper. So I think that if we can look at prosperity from that, and if there's any of those other words that pop up kind of in the negative field of that, those things have sometimes been ingrained in us from an early age and from a society that had the haves and have-nots war going on and fed that. Now, this isn't to say that there aren't people that on either end of those spectrums. What we're talking about is for the individual, for the person who's listening to this right now, to know how to get your life right back on track, how to get back on track in life is to focus on prospering, focus on building and growing and being everything you're meant to be, right? Because these are the four steps that we talk about in regards to prosperity that will help you do that. So the first thing I want to share when we talk about prosperity, and one of the key factors, and I already, like I said, mentioned it before, is this one. Clearly one of my favorite topics is purpose. See, when you're prosperous, you can fulfill your purpose. Think about that. When you're prosperous, you have the means to fulfill your purpose. I knew a client who had a phenomenal heart. I know many clients this way, but this one in particular I'm thinking of, who had a gift that she wanted to deliver. But because of her challenge around prosperity and abundance and wealth, wasn't receiving the resources, right? Prosperity is about resources to fulfill her purpose, right? We're not given a purpose without also being given the means by which to make it possible. We do have to participate in receiving those means. So if there's a disconnect, right, as we're just talking about, between the idea of being prosperous and receiving prosperity, then you will not be able to fulfill your purpose. Now, here's the trick. Lean in. Conversely, if you are not putting your prosperity, right, your resources into fulfilling a purpose, they will disappear. They will mitigate. They will fall through the sieve, if you will, right? And this can look like a lot of things, but sometimes it just literally looks like money flowing right through your hands and no place for it to go. So it is important that we have an understanding of what our real purpose is and know that when we prosper, we're able to fulfill it in a bigger and greater way. Right? I've long known that I meant to help people, even when I was a small child. It didn't happen for many years until I also understood that I had to prosper, right? I had to have the resources to make myself available to the people who needed me most, right? So think about it that way. The prosperity and the purpose work together. And without one or the other, both will fall apart. Neither will be fulfilled. So that's the first thing, purpose, to know truly what your purpose is. Like I like to call it the why behind your why, right? The ultimate reason that you're here to continue to share, and also the thing you're continuing to share, that's the purpose. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing about how to get back on track in life around prosperity is this one's going to maybe, again, challenge a few people that are listening to this, but it's one that took me a while to learn. So I'm going to be, honest, right? Raise my hand. In fact, I just have to breathe. So if anybody's feeling that with me, whew. Okay, ready? This one, patience. I'm going to be honest, not a particularly patient person in my life. All right, that was a big lesson for me. And the way that can show up around prosperity is oftentimes we put goals out there that are incredible, like they're very either large numbers or large achievements. And when I work with my clients, what I try to explain is to make sure that the goals we're setting themselves aren't self-sabotage, right? That there isn't sabotage underneath that. And what I mean by that is you have to be in a place to receive it, and you have to be patient enough once you've decided that that really is your goal, that nothing else matters. Again, we're talking about like whatever else is happening in the world, whatever's coming at you, whatever people are saying, the environment or the economy or all of those things look like outside of you. that your resolve to have your prosperity happen is solid and steady, and that you have the patience to stand for it and continue to be aligned with it, which means that you don't fall prey to distraction or, here's a good one, comparison, right? Let's say you decide you're going to make $100,000 this year. And in doing so, you start kind of looking at how you can make that so. And as you start looking around, maybe at your peers, maybe at the people that you would like to have be your mentors, or maybe others who do something similar, but not exactly what you do, by the way. That's for another podcast. But you're looking around, and suddenly you're seeing signs all over that say, 6 figures in 6 days, or how I made 6 figures while eating potato chips on the couch, whatever. And suddenly you start to think that either one, the goal you've chosen is too small, right? Like, oh, you should definitely be stretching then. Or that you start to think that the way the others are doing it is the way you should do it. And even though you've decided and you've put some plans into action, you lose patience because you're not seeing the results that someone else is seeing in the same way. That is one of those signs of knowing that you're not really holding that second pillar of patience in place, right? You're not aligning with the idea and the concept of being patient. Now, patient doesn't mean, just so anybody's asking, patient doesn't mean waiting without intention, right? Like backburnering things, like putting things on the back burner and then just kind of sort of maybe checking on them once a year, maybe at the beginning of the year when you start to say, hey, I have these New Year's resolutions, that kind of thing. No, patience is knowing and allowing and resting in your enoughness, right? The enoughness of your idea of being prosperous, the enoughness in the things that you recognize that you want to create. Remember, prosperity is about creation. So those are the ways that you can tell if you're holding on to your patience or losing it. And that will help to continue to foster, that level of prosperity and grow. So how do you grow it? Okay, there's a couple. The next two we're going to talk about that. So this next piece, this next step, if you will, is persistence. All right, now I can just see people's eyes rolling. You just told us to be patient. Yes. Can you be patient and persistent? Yes. Here's why. Persistence is about you continuing to focus on the thing that you're trying to achieve, right? So it's focus in the sense of knowing it's going to be so, hence the patience, and taking aligned, purposeful action toward said goal of prosperity. So the persistence isn't so much about pushing as about being consistently in action toward the goal. That's persistence. It also feeds your prosperity. Why? Because when you're being consistent and you've taken steps and you've decided what your plan is towards your prosperity, when you've taken the steps, extra secret for those paying attention, the universe rewards you. So prosperity comes in, the cash flow, the opportunities, the gifts, they are being magnetized to you because of that persistence, right? That's how it continues to grow. So persistence, okay? That's number 3. So the first step, review, was, hold on, here we go. Purpose. The second step, for those just joining us, patience, which, like I mentioned, used to be a harder one for me than it is now, thank goodness. So if it's yours, I feel you, okay? And the next one is persistence. Persistence. How are you persistent? Do you continue to hold that focus of achieving whatever your prosperity goals are, or do you waver, right? So like the example earlier where I said, hey, I'm going to make $100,000 in a year. And then people around me start saying, hey, I'm making $100,000 in 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 days. And suddenly your eyes are going darting over like, oh no, wait, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to change it, right? That's a little bit of persistence and patience working together, right? The patience to know that the choice that you made when you truly decided it, again, from the place of your purpose, right? Knowing it's aligned with your purpose. That's enough. So getting distracted and pulled off course, that's not persistence, okay? Persistence is staying the course. All right, so this all sounds like a lot of work probably right now. People are going, oh, it feels like too much. Well, I hope it doesn't, first of all, because there's simple things to do. And if that's you and you're kind of feeling that way, you're going to love this last one. All right. So again, we're talking about how to get back on track in life. Our energy, right, when there's all this stuff going on around outside of us, can leak out in all these different ways. But when we bring it back to making sure that we are in the place of prospering, right? Again, prospering so that we can provide what we're meant to provide the world through our purpose, then we stay, and as I said before in the description here, we become part of the solution. Our success helps heal the world. Not just financially, by the way, right? So prosperity is opportunity, and it's creation, and it's wealth, and it's money, and it's abundance, and it's the ability to be in this flow of all those things. So when we are on purpose and we are showing up to do our real work, then we get to be a part of that. And the more of us, and I mean, I'm just saying in general, more humans that are doing that, the better off the world is. End of story. Right? Challenge me on that. But if the world were in that state, and people in the world were in that state, and they were coming from that core sense of fulfilling a purpose and using their prosperity to continue to further that, then that is when the success continues. So, I guess ready for number 4? Okay, here's number 4. The 4th step. Yay! Play! Play is the 4th step. We have to remember that life is love and joy and beauty. And if we spend all of our time, right, stuck in the crunch, right, that heavy, grinding, pushing energy, what the heck is the point? Why? If we're not having any fun, we're not fun to be around. I'm going to be honest with you there, right? People aren't fun to be around if they are never having any fun. Have you ever been like at a convention or, you know, and you all get done with the day and maybe you go down to the restaurant or the bar and everybody's sitting and chatting and having fun. And there's that one person, maybe a couple, but I'll say this one person who's sitting at the edge and they're just still so intense. You know, they're not ready to let go. They're not ready to enjoy. They're not ready to laugh. They're still in it and they're still pushing and there's a detraction from that because there is a balance to it. And it's literally in this system as we're talking about, it's like 1/4. It's like, you must play. You must play because play is creative. And we are creative creatures. And the universe loves to be in joy. When we walk outside and we see nature, I used to say sometimes when I'd walk into like a really beautiful setting in nature, I'm like, look at that. God's just showing off today. Like, it's just gorgeous. That light, that delight, right? The effervescence of life, that fuels us on a cellular, biochemical level. We get to eat up that energy and spread it out. Right? We infuse our work with play, with joy, with laughter. And I'll tell you what, my clients, when we get into groups, we have so much fun. And if you're not up for fun, then you shouldn't join one of our groups, because that to me is so vital. You can't take yourself so seriously that you just add extra effort to everything you're doing. You can't take yourself too seriously. You can't even take your goals too seriously, right? You can be focused without losing, sight of the fact that this thing we get to do, this thing called life, it's freaking fun. It's amazing. It's so full of beauty and passion and laughter and silliness, ridiculousness sometimes. If you can be in that state, right? If you can tap into that on a regular basis, then that energy will fuel you, right? So it carries you through the times when it doesn't feel like that. When things outside of you are feeling like they're really at the attack, it helps. I'm going to call out a wonderful client that I worked with before, Jennifer Reason from Vitamin Chi Comedy. I think I got that right. When we worked together, her thing was she has this great, check it out, she has this great comedy, virtual comedy tour that she's doing. But when she talked about, for her, the ability to build her confidence and help her clients build confidence through comedy was that a wonderful synergy of her knowledge as an acupuncturist about the body and the energy, right, that we have as humans, and the ability we can have when we laugh, like that healing that occurs when we can laugh at ourselves and sometimes the ridiculousness of life. Like that amazing creation that she's made is so wonderful. And I think it speaks to that, like having that level of play, showing up, doing her work, and all of that combined allows her to deliver something to the world that the world needs. So if you are someone now who's been watching me for a little bit and you think, yeah, I could really get this time right now and take it on and be ready right now, this year especially, to start going into the world and into my life and bringing things forward that bring me prosperity, that allow me to show up and be on purpose, then I've got a quick offer for you at the end of this. And that is, I want you to know that you can change that direction at any time. And like I said, these are 4 quick steps to take to just get that done in a day, even if you really commit to it. But I also want you to know that you have the capacity to choose what this map forward looks like, right? Where you're going. So I'm going to give you guys, you can see this here, a gift. Actually, I just printed this earlier, which is just that. It's a roadmap. So if you want it, there it is down below here. You can get it. It's a free gift. It's something for you to have to kind of look at the aspects of your life right now and ask yourself, are you doing this? Are you on track to be in this life right now, every day, from a place that allows you to prosper, to bring prosperity, be prosperous, and to share prosperity in the world? And some of that prosperity is just you, by the way. Don't forget, life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. I'm going to say that again. Life does not happen to you. It happens through you. You are that conduit. So your prosperity is life's prosperity. And if you want to know where you might be off track, then I encourage you to check out the roadmap. Information is below there, and see if there is a way for you to start this year on the right path and to bring what you have to offer to a world that is definitely waiting to see all of you thrive. All right, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'm Leah Dunlap, Oracle on Purpose. Remember, whatever this year looks like, wherever you are, wherever life has you pointed right now, you are here on purpose.
Thanks for tuning in to the Oracle on Purpose show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you leaving a comment. Also, you can subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet. If you'd like to get clear on your highest vision and next steps, go to oracleonpurpose.com. See you next week.